Thank you for staying with us. So we have certified neuro-linguistic practitioner Boluwatife David, who is the founder of the Focus Life community and convener of the Focus Life Summit and creator of the Focus Code. He's here to talk about moving from potential to performance using the Focus Code. It's great to have you, David. You are welcome.
Thank you
so
so
now
much.
That's a word that people use a lot, potential. Potential. Something that you can see in there, something that you feel would come to fruition, but then not everybody gets to fulfill that potential. And that's what we're talking about today, potential to performance.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, how can you recognize potential?
Oh, well, I think the truth of the matter is that everybody in this world has got one potential or the
Or
other.
the other, okay.
Yeah. The way we have been designed by God is such that He has packed everybody with potential to do so much more than we can ever be doing. Think about it like somebody who's got an iPhone 11 but only uses that phone to make phone calls and receive SMS and maybe chat on WhatsApp.
Which many people do.
Exactly, whereas that phone has already been designed to do a whole lot more than what it's being used for. So one of the things I say to people is that potential is energy at rest. Performance is energy at work. So everybody's got that energy within them.
Yes, that's what we should put out there first. Everyone has potential. It
has the
depends
potential.
on whatever. It's all in different facets.
Exactly.
We all have potential.
Exactly.
That's
we all have potential. So the question is, why is it that most of the time people cannot convert their potential to performance? Last week we spoke about the three major things that can hold people down from doing that. And what we talked about is the fact that there are some people because they lack clarity, for some people because they are being held hostage by limiting beliefs, fear, and a lot of other things. And then the third thing I talked about last week was the fact that there are some people that are just victims of theft. You know, they are being robbed of the most precious gift or the most precious resource in this world, which is their time.
Their time.
You know, so when all of these things happen, people cannot move their potential to performance. But the question really is, there are some people, they are clear of what they want to do. They know how to do it, yet they are not still converting their potential to performance. Okay. And that is what we're focusing on.
All right, so how do we move from that? From that point, you know what to do now, like you said, but then you're finding it hard to convert from potential to performance. How do you go about it?
So for me, there's something a concept I came up with a while ago, and I call it setting your performance triggers. Now, we all have what I call performance triggers. We all have those things that when they come to mind, they jot us out of our sleeping position. They set us on the move, you know. Think about it like somebody that is being chased by a dog. That person will probably run faster than Usain Bolt. And if on a good day you ask that person to run, the person will probably say, no, I can't run. You know, I'm reminded of a story of a particular woman that so robbers came to her house and then she scaled the fence of her own compound into another compound. Now, after the robbery has gone, she now went to the gate of that big compound and discovered that, oh, the gate was already actually locked from outside. So she started knocking on the gate and people heard and they came to the gate and said, how did you get inside? And she said, oh, I jumped the fence. Now, people now ask that, okay, jump back outside now. And she was like, I can't do it. Now, what happened was that in the nick of the moment when the robbers came, she realized that, oh, there was potential to jump over the fence. And because there was a performance trigger, which was the desire to protect her life, she jumped. But now that the robbers are gone, the trigger is gone.
It's no longer there.
So for me, the more we are able to bring our performance triggers to mind consciously, the easier performance becomes for us.
But would it be possible now, those performance triggers, like we said, a rush of adrenaline or something, how feasible is it? How can you really put yourself in that situation? Because like you said a dog chasing you. I might not want to run, but how do you physically put yourself in that frame of mind that, you know, that would trigger that performance? Okay,
so before we even talk about how to trigger it, I'll talk about the two major types of performance triggers that people have. The first one is away from, and the second one is towards. So away from is something I'm trying to get away from. Towards is something I'm trying to run towards. Now, most of the time, and towards sometimes comes by way of the goals that people have set, by the dreams they have. But most of the time, when people look at where they are today versus where they want to be, the distance seems to be so large that they just give up. So that's why I said to people that you need to, first of all, move yourself out by away from. It gets you halfway, and then you now say, what I'm actually trying to reach is no longer too far, and then you can complete it. Now, all of those things that we're talking about, they are now a function of mindset creation or an imagination kind of thing. So take, for instance, one of my own away from performance trigger is that there is a possibility that one day I will not be able to pay house rent and the landlord will chase me out of the house. Has it happened to me before? No. Is it a possibility that it can happen to me? Yes. If I don't do the work I'm expected to do. So when I think about my family and how I want to protect them now, and how I want to protect them from the danger. Now, that danger in itself, I've painted a picture so vividly of the things that can happen to them that it becomes an away from performance trigger. Such that if I get to work and I don't feel like working, and I remember that if I don't do this work, I don't get this money, I can't do this thing for my family, this can happen to them. I move myself to start doing it. So everybody needs to come to that point of saying that what is that thing that can happen to me?
The worst that can happen
to me. Now, I say this way, that the gorier the picture is, the more driven you become.
The more motivated you are to move.
Exactly. Okay. So you need to be able to go to the farthest distance of the possible thing that can happen to you. Now, when that picture is clear in your mind, you know, I remember I saw a particular Nike advert, and then in that moment, Rooney was actually playing the ball. And then I think he was trying to score, and then Cavell got the ball from him. Now, in that moment, the thought that came to Rooney's head was thinking about him no longer being a great footballer. Now, he was thinking about himself losing out on an opportunity to be knighted by the Queen. He thought about the fact that after a while, he now became the guy that was marking the field, and he was living in a mobile trailer, now full of beards and all of that. In that moment, he stepped out from the trailer, and he looked up, and it was Cavell that got the ball from him that was on the billboard. Now, that picture in his mind propelled him to run so much that he got the ball back. Now, the towards for him was at the moment he got the ball back and he scored the ball, they now showed his thought as to when, you know, all the child that was given birth in England were named Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney, Wayne Rooney. So the moment now, what I say to people is that this performance trigger is not something you start thinking about when you need to perform. It's something that you must have thought about. You must have defined for yourself before the time of performance comes. So that when it's time to perform and you are not performing, you just remind yourself. You know, I say to people that we wonder why some people keep their family portrait on their work table. People think they're just trying to decorate their workspace. For some people, that is their performance trigger.
So now you mentioned something about the rent.
Yes.
That is more like away from.
That is an away from.
That's away from.
Exactly.
So now when you think of, I'm looking at the situation as going to.
Exactly.
So maybe you can think of what life, what kind of life.
Do you understand what kind of life will my family live?
If I can make all these things available. So that's another form of performance trigger.
That is now the towards.
Can we highlight a little on that? On the
towards. So for the towards performance trigger, right? It is the picture of an exciting life. The picture of you being able to probably fly a private jet, you know, the picture of you probably being able to be a blessing to 1,000 of people. You know, take for instance, I had a conference because of the weekend. At different times, I felt like not doing it again. But for me, the picture that was only in my head was the hall full of over 1,000 people.
Now, you know what? From what I've seen from a lot of people, the away from at times is a more motivating, compelling factor than the towards. Because look, everybody has that towards. I would love to be in a private jet. I would love to go to space and all that. Exactly. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much for this. Performance triggers. I hope you've been able to learn something there, and that's quite an insightful discussion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. Okay, that's it. I hope you're able to pick up something, how to move from potential to performance, and using performance triggers to get you to where you want to be.